So back in 2001, I was installing Ethernet cables at companies on the East Coast. And at one of these offices, the manager actually refused to use email and he barely used a computer. I remember thinking it was strange because I'd already been on the internet for over a decade at that point, but he was near the end of his career, so he was going to keep doing whatever worked for him, at least until he retired. So a few years later, I was at different marketing companies and I noticed smaller versions of the same thing happening. People were still hesitant with spreadsheets. Some people hesitated to use email. And any new application they faced was like them trying to sort of program an old VCR. So this was the early 2000s, and it was obvious there was a gap between people who adopted the technology and people who didn't. And what really stands out to me now is that I saw the gap inside marketing teams too, even on very successful online marketing teams. And right now we're at another one of those moments, except for this one is much, much bigger. AI and LLMs let people generate complex things at a level that would have required serious expertise just a year ago. And that's the good news. But the bad news is that generating something is not at all the same thing as maintaining it. If you've written software before, you already know this. And there's a saying in software that I find more and more accurate over the years, and that's that when you're 90% done, you've got about 90% more to go. And the thing is that LLMs can do that first 90%. They can do it in an afternoon, and it starts making that other 90% seem like it can also be done in an afternoon. But it's incredibly deceptive. So it's in the details where the real pain starts. Integration is difficult. API changes are annoying to maintain. Troubleshooting networking issues is just absolutely crazy making. And debugging is a whole other layer of different kinds of challenges for engineers. And for anyone who's never built or maintained software before, they don't usually have a good feel for how quickly this stuff really turns ugly. So now we have this insane productivity gains at the same time that we're accumulating technical debt. And if you don't deal with that debt early, it compounds. 6 months from now or 12 months from now, something breaks, and now you've potentially lost weeks trying to get it working again properly. So LLMs help, obviously. They're great at finding problems and helping people solve them. But as the code base grows, they get more confused too. They start making changes they shouldn't make. And if the person reviewing those changes doesn't really understand the system, that's where things go sideways fast. And I've seen this enough now that I think a lot of teams are truly underestimating the risk that they're taking on when they start letting AI and LLMs build these tools that they really rely on. So once the complexity gets beyond what you can hold in your head and beyond what the model is handling cleanly, you're in a really bad place. You can absolutely trash a year's worth of work in one night if you don't know what you're doing. So this is why I believe marketing teams are going to need a new role on their teams. Traditionally, you've got some version of an account manager or a team lead, an analyst that handles a lot of data management and reporting, and a creative who could be a copywriter, designer, etc. That's basically been the normal structure for a long time. And I believe that long-standing structure for marketing teams is going to be evolving for the first time, I think, in decades, and adding a new role. And that fourth role that I now see is that of a marketing engineer. So this is a person who smooths out operations for everyone else. They collect and structure data better, they pull information together from third-party systems, they improve the reporting, and they design processes and workflows so that the individual team moves faster without building garbage behind the scenes. So for the creative, that might mean better systems for finding content opportunities, ideation, editing, etc. For the account manager, it might mean scripts and internal tools that reduce whatever busy work they have so they can actually spend more time invested in client relationships. And for the analyst, it might mean getting hard-to-reach data delivered in the exact format that they need. So a marketing engineer is also going to prototype internal tools, and they're going to look different on every team. You might use something like N8N to move quickly at first, and that's fine for prototyping, but for long-term, a lot of teams are going to need actual code and actual systems running available somewhere else. So when I say marketing engineer, I actually don't mean somebody just playing with prompts. I mean somebody who really understands systems, automation, data flow, maintenance, failure points, how to build useful internal tooling without burying the team in technical debt. And I think the marketing engineer becomes extremely important over the next few years, not because marketing is becoming engineering, but because modern marketing teams are going to break if nobody owns the engineering responsibilities inside the work. So I have a lot more to say about the responsibilities, et cetera, of a marketing engineer, but I'll expand on those ideas in future videos. So to help grow this role on teams, if you're interested in this sort of role on marketing teams, I've actually created a new site called marketingengineer.io and a YouTube channel, as well as posting all this stuff on LinkedIn and all the other social stuff. And I'm going to have at least a couple new videos each week helping you as a digital marketer understand the engineering that influences your campaigns and also to learn how to avoid common engineering pitfalls while increasing your team's productivity as we bring AI and LLMs into every part of our digital marketing campaigns. So this is going to be anything from improving your copywriting workflows. For example, I think the most important tools for a copywriter are actually a microphone and an AI code editor. Going from that all the way to understanding how like For You pages and your home feeds decide to rank content, all the way to more technical talks on how neural networks, LLMs work behind the scenes, search engines, etc., so that you can actually make better use of them for your clients. So check out marketingengineer.io, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and follow me on LinkedIn to keep up with all the new content that I'm going to be putting out there, helping marketing engineers and marketing teams embrace more engineering into their workflows.